Hi everyone, my name's Lindsay and I'll be presenting Quizlet today, which is a web-based study tool. Quizlet allows the user to create and access digital flashcards called study sets to study a particular subject. You can then use the questions and answers to practice your knowledge through tests and games. So this is the homepage for Quizlet. I'm going to log in over here. I've already created my account. But as you can see, there's also an app you can download, so you can use it on your mobile device. If you have Quizlet Plus, you can also study offline, so you can download your study sets and you don't have to be connected to the internet to use that. So I'm just going to log in. I logged in with Google. And then here are the study sets we can use. You can see some of Allison's have popped up here, I guess. They know that we know each other somehow. So for Quizlet to be an effective study tool, the students would need to have some basic computer literacy and reading skills. My 5-year-old son would easily be able to use Quizlet to match, for example, the word apple with a picture of an apple. But the content of the study set is customizable to any age group that has those basic computer and reading skills. And it could even be useful in a workplace setting. So, for example, I work in food service and we regularly have menu tests and complete safety training such as WMIS and allergy protocols. So right now we use pen and paper for those, but we could definitely use Quizlet to study the terms, or even we could create a class and the boss would be able to see who has completed their tests. Quizlet offers a free membership, but also Quizlet Plus, which is $44.99 for the year or $9.99 monthly. The paid membership opens up extra features such as no ads, adding pictures to study sets, or scanning handwritten notes, or as we saw earlier, you can use it offline. With a free membership, you can still access study sets that have been created by a paying member, which is a bonus. You don't have to pay to access someone who has already paid their study set. Yeah, so we don't even have to create our own study set. We can search for one. If we type a subject into the search bar, related material will pop up. So if we're looking for example, grade 5 math, I can type it in there and we'll enter that search. And here, there are a couple here, but we can also view all. There'll be more to choose from. And you can even see previews for the sets here. So it depends on what we're studying. If we click on this one here, here are the flashcards. So we have the word angle. So if we click on angle, it will give us the definition for that term. And we can go back a little bit. Algebraic expression, a mathematical phrase involving a variable or variables, numbers, and operations. We can also do a test. So it'll give us a whole bunch of different questions here. So we have true or false. And then here we have a matching term, so that's multiple choice. And then here we have where you match the words with their definitions. So it's not just flashcards. You can actually do the test. You can print the test afterwards to study from. We can create a new test if we don't like these questions. We can, let's say we don't like true or false questions, we can take out also written. So if we only wanted multiple choice, we could choose that. So here now all the questions are multiple choice for the grade 5 math. So if we exit this. So to create a study set, we can use the create button here. We can create a study set. A folder is something where you can put all your study sets. So if you have like a math, you can have geometry or algebra or calculus. You can have a whole bunch of different study sets in one folder called math. But here we're going to create a study set for now. So we'll give our study set a name. So I've created one already, but I'm just going to use the same title here, Rock Stars. And we're going to add a description. So I'm going to say rock stars and their bands. You can also put our school name here or a course, but here we're just going to enter some terms and definitions. So if I wanted to say, let's just for an example use Jimmy Page, who is the guitarist for Led Zeppelin, a bunch of suggestions will pop up, so that's handy. So Jimmy Page initially got his start with which group? And I can click on definition here. Led Zeppelin is the answer. We can also type in Sting. And then you just have to watch for the definitions because sometimes it'll give you things that aren't relevant. But Sting was in the Police. And we can also talk about Mick Jagger. Yeah, so we can Mick Jagger, again, the suggestions are here. Mick Jagger typically wrote the lyrics to the Rolling Stones songs. If we click here, it's now going to say, oh, lead singer of the Rolling Stones, Rolling Stones vocals. So I can just click that. I don't even have to type it in, which is handy. Yeah, so when I finish that, I can create it. You can just keep going with terms and definitions if you like. You can also add a card, so it'll give you more space to put those on. Once we create the set, you can also go back and add questions and answers or remove them if you prefer. Yeah, so here's our, we just did the 3. Jimmy Page initially got his start with which group? We have Led Zeppelin. My library, I created a similar one earlier, but we can also do a test for this one. So John Lennon and the Beach Boys have nothing to do with each other, so that's false. One of the drawbacks here is the written question and answer. So I haven't really given enough information here for the student to know the answer. So it just says Van Halen. I should have written who is the lead singer of Van Halen, because if it just says Van Halen here, the answer could be Eddie Van Halen. It could be Wolfgang Van Halen. I spelled it. But the answer is actually David Lee Roth that I wrote in there. So that's a little bit of a drawback. The matching is really neat. So if we exit the test again, we can click on the matching option. So this is a game. So all the terms and definitions will pop up and we have to make them disappear, which I think we've done at Sheridan a couple of times. But for example, if I see John Lennon, I am going to look for the Beatles. There he is. Roger Waters is in Pink Floyd. Jerry Garcia is in the Grateful Dead. Steve Perry from Journey. Phil Collins in Genesis. And Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys. Yeah, so I got first place and I did that in 27 seconds. So if I could challenge you, the students could compete against each other to see who can do it the fastest. So it's good that you get scores. You get a score on your test. When you've completed your test, you can see how well you've absorbed the knowledge from the study set. Overall, I'd recommend Quizlet as a study tool. It's easy to use and the instant feedback is fairly gratifying and motivational. There seems to be minimal risk to student safety. The only drawback I can think of is that it is a public tool and we can't really control the content that might be accessible. So there might be some, I don't know why anyone would put inappropriate pictures up, but that's definitely a possibility. It's not policed like a school where everything is locked up and secure. So that was my presentation on Quizlet. Please let me know if you have any questions in the discussion board. I really enjoyed this tool, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of your presentations.